Remember, like, you're not teaching them English for the sake of teaching them English. You're giving them a result. As an English teacher, you think of building or growing your online teaching business. Probably, the first things or questions that you have in your mind, it's like, how do I sell this thing? How do I market it? Should I be on Instagram? Should I be on Facebook? Should I make a YouTube video? But very few people actually realize that one of the most important thing, if not the most important thing, is the quality of the service or the product that you offer. Because really, if you think about it, in its essence, what is business? A business really is an exchange of money that the client gives you for the results that they get. It doesn't matter what platform your website is on, what fancy software you're using, what advertising system you're using, what marketing platform or anything like that. It does not matter. What really matters is that your clients get results. And this is something that is very often overlooked. And that's the reason why so many English teachers actually struggle to sell their services, to be able to charge more money for the services and to grow the English teaching business. Now, if you're new here and you're wondering, what does this guy know about growing an English teaching business or building a really successful product? My name is Marek Kiczkowek and I run Academic English Now, where we help PhD students and researchers regularly publish papers in top journals. And in the last 3 years, we've worked with over 400 PhD students and researchers. And we've really honed in, the art of building an exceptional product and an exceptional service. But it wasn't always like that, It started very scrappy and very rough until it got to this point, and we continuously trying to improve the service, because I know that the only thing that really keeps the business afloat, keeps it growing, is that great customer experience. Because if your customers are getting results, they'll want to continue with you. They'll want to renew, they'll want to upgrade to another program, they'll want to stay with you, they'll want to pay you more money, and they'll refer their friends, they'll tell everybody about it. Whereas if you have a crap product that doesn't give them results, then clients will leave and they will talk about you negatively on the internet as well, and you won't have a business. So for now, forget about all the marketing stuff and really focus on building an exceptional product and service. How do you do that? Well, the key, as with a lot of things, is actually starting with the client. I talked in another video about the importance of understanding your client, the challenges and the goals. Without it, you can't build a product. So the problem is that, and that was my problem as well, that as English teachers, we have all these ideas about what should be included in a specific course, right? And we know how to design courses. At least that's what we think. That's what I thought as well. And we think we know what our students need. But this isn't always the case. Like, you have to get out of your head and actually go to the client and understand what they are struggling with. So what you need to do is, use your experience, use your past experience of teaching English to that particular avatar. And remember, you want to be focusing on a very specific avatar that has a very specific problem. And you want to map out what are the stumbling blocks that they have to get to that particular problem. To describe what happened to me and to give you a little bit of a backstory, like when I developed my first academic writing course, I thought, in the same way that most academic writing teachers think. And, I thought about the grammar that they need, about the language that they need. After all, we're teaching the language. And that course just didn't work very well because I never actually thought about what is it that my client needs in order to get the result. I wasn't even thinking about the result. I was just thinking about teaching them academic English. So you want to think, well, what is the result that my client needs? Well, they need to write a research paper and submit it in the next 6 weeks. Okay, what are the challenges that they have? Well, you want to speak to your past clients, and if you don't have any clients at the moment, talk to your avatar on the internet. Invite them to a free consultation, even where you're not going to sell them anything. You're just going to learn a little bit more about the problems that they're struggling. Because otherwise you'll be creating something most likely that your client doesn't need. You want to list those challenges to that goal. So if the goal is writing and submitting a research paper in the next 6 weeks, what are the challenges? Well, first of all, it seems, I didn't know about it, but a lot of clients don't have a research topic, or they have a research topic that is crap. They have no justification for the research topic, which in our field is called a research gap, which again, in my first course, I had no idea that was a problem because I had never talked to any of my clients. What they also struggle with is, for example, how to structure the introductions. What are the steps in there? What is the language that they have to be using? When you submit a paper, how do you choose the journal? So there are all these, I'm not going to go into all the details, but you get my point. Like you want to talk to your clients or to your avatar to find out what are the biggest stumbling blocks that are stopping them from achieving whatever it is that they want to achieve. And it's got to be specific, right? Remember, like you're not teaching them English for the sake of teaching them English. You're giving them a result. For my clients, it is writing 3 papers every single year. That's the result that they want. For you, it might be different. It might be helping a CEO give powerful presentations. What are the stumbling blocks? And then once you've got those stumbling blocks, then the next thing is to focus on tasks. So my biggest mistake that I was making, and I feel a lot of English teachers make that mistake as well, is to think in terms of like the language that we need to teach, the vocabulary, the grammar, all that kind of stuff. And of course, that comes into play. But what really matters, the only thing your client cares about is the result. So what are the steps that they need to take in order to get to that result? Map these steps out. So in our case, the first thing really that you need to have is a great research topic. So we need to show people how to get a great research topic, because without a research topic, they can't publish anywhere, no matter how well they structure it and how good the grammar is and all of that. But a typical English teacher wouldn't think about that. And a typical academic writing course isn't going to include that, because most people don't actually talk to their clients to find out what it is that they need in order to get the results that they want. Most people don't even think what is the specific result that my client wants and what is the time frame for that result. So you want to map these steps out and then start dividing that, that program into weeks. So depending what your offer is, it can be 6 weeks to something, right? And then you want to map these steps out into weeks. Now, once you've got a specific step, like for example, in our case, one of the specific steps is time management and productivity. A lot of researchers and PhDs really struggle with being productive, writing on a regular basis, and so on. Within that, what are the sub-steps that they need to take in order to achieve their goal of being productive? And then you start putting that into a week or a module of several steps. But the key really, and I know I might sound like a broken record, but it's really important, so I'm going to say it again. You have to focus on the result that your client wants to have and the problems that they're experiencing, and then solve them with tasks. Don't think in terms of grammar or the language that you've got to be teaching. That's the biggest mistake that you can be making. You've got to be thinking in terms of tasks and the results that your client wants. Now, once you've got that, what you really need to do then is to trim stuff that is not essential. A big misconception that I think a lot of English teachers have is that in order to make your product higher price, you need to add more stuff to it. But by adding more stuff to it, you're making the product bulkier, but you're not really helping the client. So you want to be very clinical here and just leave the steps, only the ones that are necessary for the client to achieve the results. Because the faster your client gets to the results and the easier it is, the better for the client and the more valuable the product. The product isn't more valuable because you put more stuff to it. Actually, the less there is, as long as the client gets the results, the better. So that's a really, really important step. Now, the next thing that you want to be thinking about is what might be the possible barriers to your clients actually achieving the results. So for a lot of people, it actually is like just not following through with the plan. You might design a really good course and give it to people, but people aren't going to do that. They often need somebody at their side pushing them to do this, helping them, coaching them. So that's why, for example, in Academic English Now, what we have is we have group coaching calls 3 times a week where they can hop on, get any questions answered, and also be kept accountable. And we do the same with feedback. So we offer them feedback. So you want to be thinking, again, in terms of the client, what does the client need to get to the result? That's the most important thing, the result and the client. The last thing that you want to be thinking about from a business perspective, your product needs to be scalable. So once you have a product that gets clients results, you need to be able to scale it. So that's why teaching one-to-one, it works at the beginning and it's fine to get the first few clients and you can offer them one-to-one coaching for 10 sessions, for example, for $5,000, right? But at some point your calendar will be full with clients and you're not able to scale any further. What you need to also design a business model, a product that is scalable. So for example, instead of one-to-one calls with your clients, you could do a group coaching call where, 4 or 5 clients hop on, they ask questions, and then it's much easier to scale that than, for example, teaching one-to-one. You could be doing live classes, but the problem with that is that, from the client's perspective, they actually have to show up, which for many of them, they don't have time to do so. But also from the business perspective is that you're selling your time and you will be full teaching classes live and you will never be able to scale it past a certain number of hours. So these are the really important steps when it comes to building an exceptional product that really gets your clients results. And remember, the business and how profitable your business is, this is just a reflection of the results that your clients are getting, because your clients are exchanging money for results and getting those results faster than they would be otherwise able to do by themselves. So if you offer them better results faster, you're going to be able to charge more money.